In school sunrise video series. Are we going to be having a good time while we are learning? I think we are. And that's because I planned for a terrific session. Not because I scripted it out perfectly, but because I care about one viewer. Me in the future. I was asked a question. This is what they don't teach you in school about being okay with temporarily not being massively popular. So that way, together, we can march towards our goals one step at a time. Okay, so yesterday, I'm interacting with, for some reason, a person that's seen one of my videos. And they said, "You're not very popular," as I was being swamped with putty in the room. Because the way this person, gender non-specific's brain was wired is that you need to be popular everywhere, every how, in every format. And what they don't teach you in school is that's not how adoption works. Later, it leaked out that their goal was $5 million. And I'm laughing because I'm laughing at them. Because they're not willing to go dollar to dollar. So they're laughing at me saying, "Hey, I saw one of your videos. They don't get very many views. Are you not very popular?" While being in a room that was cascading in the JJ. Not to say that I am popular in a room. What we're talking about is the stepwise function of getting slightly better. The moment to moment, day to day, dare I say, video to video improvement of us combining videos. So let's say that you think, hey, the number of views is low, and that's your discernment, that's your filter, that's how you would be fearful of taking 2 steps. What they don't teach you in school is all the people who are massively successful, they initially had to take 5 to 1 and then sometimes 2 steps back worth of steps. But maybe they did it outside of the limelight. They did it outside of the lens in which you might be thinking you need to succeed. What school doesn't teach you is the fact that, not that social media is fake, because it's real AF with real implications. But when we're trying to self-improve, rewire our brain, get slightly better, doing Sunrise video series, we together don't necessarily stepwise function from 0 to 500 to 600K. That's not the progression. The progression is 1 to 4 per whatever, $1 to $4, 1 to 4 new acquaintances, 1 to 4 web pages, 1 to 4 attempts to use OpenAI. And then the overnight success comes 10 years later. The overnight success comes 10 months later. The overnight success comes 10 classes later because you've been able to go class to class. Okay, let's give you guys a framework for, you pick, free vacation, free class at a business school. Let's just stay with those two. Free vacation or free class. What do you guys want to do? We are talking about what they don't teach you in school, specifically as it pertains to temporarily being unpopular, which me, Larry Chiang, I'm temporarily unpopular on video. Am I popular IRL? A little bit. That's what we're talking about. Because does not being massively popular keep us from having the courage and the curiosity to set aside our insecurity to take step number one? Let's talk about both. Nice. Let's talk about both. So, when I say free vacation, it almost sounds like there's a trip to Florida that's creepy. No, that's not what this is. This is the street smart way to go to a business conference so that way we end up winning at entrepreneurship. Why and how? Because we are going to take a couple steps inside the confines of winning at a trip. This is the framework. Let's go. Upcoming in Texas, there is a music festival combined with a film festival combined with venture capital festival. That festival is called South by Southwest. For rich people, they spend $4,000. For social media influencers, it's going to cost $4,000. Somehow, my unemployed friends are going, and for them, it's going to probably cost $4,000. Where are they going to get that money from? Their credit card. Do we want to go into credit card debt? No, because we can win on sunrise video on Sunday as the light comes into this room, illuminating us as we illuminate these ideas on what they don't teach you in school that are basically kept in the dark, which is this. There's an agenda. It's pre-written. Do we leverage the agenda? It turns out most people are kind of too distracted to say to AI, which is artificial intelligence and Asian intelligence, hey, AI, why don't you, the computer and the Asian cowboy that you see in front of you, why don't you win at entrepreneurship? Why? It's so hard to do two things at once. Why don't we win at entrepreneurship? By reading ahead in the agenda. This is how. We take the agenda and we try to solve the holes that are in the syllabus. And if you haven't done technology entrepreneurship, if you haven't gone about reading a professor's syllabus as a teaching assistant, this will be your first time. Oh, I want to be a TA, a teaching assistant. Benefits. Free, cool shiitake as if you're the professor. By learning what they don't teach you in school and seeing it from the perspective of the teaching assistant, now the entire world opens up to you. Ooh, that's a bold claim. let's combine that claim with going on a free vacation to a festival that's called South by Southwest. We solve a problem with the syllabus. If you say to yourself, I can't read this transcript, because you don't even have to read an article, though it would help. What we're doing is we're doing these bullet points. Let's get into it. You can consume these a la carte. You can consume these as you're sampling at a buffet. You can consume these as if you're selecting courses within the main course, which is what they don't teach you in school about attending work conferences or film festivals or music festivals without having to pay any money. This is how. Bullet point number 1 is we want to join or combine or produce a joke franchise or a joke concept where we move, bullet point number 2, from guest to host. Most of the time we enter a new city and we say, I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do and I don't have very many connections, but my cousin's older brother's sister's friend has got a place. That's how most people do it. How are we going to do it? We're going to transition from point number 2, which is guest to host, to point number 3, which is host an 11-minute event. When people ask, hey, Larry, why? I'm Larry Chiang, by the way. If I've never met you before, hola, happy Sunday, blessed day. Let's get into number 4, which is, I saw some of your videos. You don't get a whole lot of views. Okay. Do I feel like that makes me less tall than 6'5", less good at sports, and less good at business? No, that doesn't. Which is why I'm very comfortable hosting an 11-minute party. What if only 20 people come? They're not going to come and say, Larry, why do you only have 15 people at the party? They're going to be like, thank you for having so few a number of people in your live stream, so that way I got personal attention. Like, do you not see that when you keep it small, you keep it all? Am I talking about starting a small business versus starting a business where the VCs end up stealing all of your equity because they're not tier 1 VCs? Maybe. And we can do step 1 enthusiastically. Let's say hosting an 11-minute party is not your thing. That's okay. Number 5 is this. Can you RSVP for an event that is at the said festival with a little bit of value added? This is how to be a value added guest, value addedly RSVPing. Why are you trying to add value? Because they spent either money or VC money or credit card money to host you coming to their party. They're not necessarily looking for value, which they will get because they're hosting something. What they're trying to do is they're trying to meet cool people. Best way to meet people, cool people, is by seeing how people RSVP. Because crappy guests, they're going to minimally viably RSVP and then 50% flake on the event, right? Number 7, what if you entered the event thinking, I wonder how this event can be my return on investment for the $60 bus fare from Houston to Austin. How can this party be my return on investment for a $280 round trip flight from Miami to Austin? What you're asking the party to do, you're also asking a blog post to do, or you're asking a book to do, which is, how can this book pay for my MBA? How can this book become my return on investment for business school at Stanford? Because most people read it to say, I'm going to try to read and comprehend as little as possible, so that way, hopefully, nobody calls me out on the fact that I half read it. That's who you're in competition with, is people who are half listening, half attending, and half reading. Let me repeat that point, because that's the crux of where we are at in this society. People are half reading things, half attending parties, and they're half-heartedly living life. Business school just costs that much money. So I don't want to tell you something unpopular, but I'm also not going to lie to you just to be popular. So that's just what the business school costs. Yeah. The good news, that's what it costs. A lot of people can't go. The better news is it's also free on YouTube. What if you could learn Strategic Management 353 without having to apply to Stanford GSB? Is this getting me blocked at Stanford Business School? Oh yeah. You would think that fraternity brother Billy Gallagher would be impressed that, hey, a Kappa Sig optimized class files. What they don't teach you in school is your fraternity has last year's class files in the class files of your fraternity. Where do the class files now reside? Class files, what are they? It's last year's content that a fraternity brother took, kept the notes, and then threw them into Engineering 145 class files, Computer Science 183D class files, the class files for Strain GT 353. Even Columbia Engineering School is at chapter 65 of the book Snowball. Yeah. Is that page 127 and page 134? Oh yeah. And is it scary that these page numbers are specific? Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's also the explanation for this, which is point number 11. When pro football players win the Super Bowl and they say, yeah, it felt like we were all on the same page today. Now what's going on is they're not all on the same one page. They're all on the same pages of 64 chapters. And then during the game, the Super Bowl, they had to conjure up learning on the fly, because we saw what they were doing and we made those adjustments. Is this bullet point number 12 of what they don't teach you in school about going on a free vacation to South by Southwest? Yes, because this book has 64 chapters. If you want to get on the same page, page 127, page 134, which is combined into chapter 65, which connects into this book, which is taught at Columbia Engineering. This is how to get a free vacation to South by, is that Warren Buffett and Steve Blank, they're not co-authoring a book right now. That's a problem. The solution is 4 hashtags, well, technically 5 hashtags. When I say hashtag, what goes through your mind? Be honest. Are you a hashtag virgin? Because what they don't teach you in school is this is what to use a hashtag for. Hashtags connect conversations. Problem. 99.9% of humanity uses a hashtag as hashtag sarcasm, hashtag comedy, hashtag virgin. When a virgin in business tries to do something for the first time, is that going to get 80,000 views? No. It's going to seem really dry and frictioned. What we're doing is we're using hashtags. In fact, that's the entire ROI for going to literally anything for free, which is a hashtag. Hashtags connect conversations. You can use artificial intelligence to guesstimate what future agendas are. That's front running the future. That's using AI, artificial intelligence, and Asian intelligence, because the way that Chinese people like me are good at math class is not because we have an IQ of 500. It just seems that way. We took math class before math class. And so you're taking South by Southwest 2025 before South by Southwest 2025. As if we're taking South by like it's a test. And is money a test? Oh yeah. Think of every cocktail party as a pop quiz for money. In concert with other topics, connected is a hashtag Warren Buffett combined with Stephen Blank. These 5 hashtags. Let's effing go. Hashtag CHA65, which is Columbia Engineering. Chapter 65 is the unwritten chapter to this book, which is Columbia as a springboard. Why is it page 127? Because this is the page number that Warren Buffett talks about getting into Columbia. Getting into Columbia without applying. True story. When we get into a school without applying, that's Warren Buffett. That's James Cameron. That's also Larry Chiang, where I did not apply to business school. I didn't. I sent an email to Irv Grosbeck talking about his chapter 17 within lecture number 11 as needs improvement. Warren Buffett, page 117. Page 117, page 123, let's go. Applying these to, let's go to a music festival business conference for free. It's basically book club at a music festival, which is an external API. And if you're confused, let's focus on chapter 65, which is 1 through 64 is in here. 65 is snowball. A snowball rolls down the hill and it picks up more snow. If you don't start rolling down the hill, you stay as a snowflake that melts. You don't join a snowball and you don't get started. Problem, you have to get to 0. And getting from 0 to 2, like, that's a ginormous step. Next bullet point, which is number, chapter 67, which is also chapter 19, which is also how books connect. You see, every book, in theory, has what's called a bibliography. And if you're part of my Espanol crowd, you'll know that bibliography is close to me being fluent with Spanish for library, which is biblioteca. And so this bibliography, in theory, doesn't get written out very well. That's a problem. What's the solution? Hashtagging up a book's bibliography by connecting another book that could be in the bibliography. That's chapter 66. That's chapter 66 connecting to chapter 19. Why? Because Warren Buffett doesn't talk about Bitcoin in chapters 1 through 18 of Safedine Amu's Fiat Standard. Explains what Warren Buffett doesn't know. Am I showing off right now? I'm not. I'm showing you how to get a free vacation. And you can casually sit and half listen as you show up to South by and half attend, as you half remember. Will that get the job done? No, that will not. That's why Tom Brady gets accused of being racist, because people don't want to be on the same 650 pages. And then during the game, you're going to have to come up with 80 more pages to also be on the same page on. That makes winning incredibly complicated. The good news is that for these things, there is no defense. There is nobody keeping you from achieving some kind of basic things. That's what they don't teach you at Y Combinator, is if you would have been a student athlete, this whole thing would go way easier. What is this whole thing? Which is us being a minimally viable engineer. We don't have to have just graduated University of Illinois in computer science. We just need to have some detail-mindedness. It's the minimally viable engineer. I'm smiling because, not that I'm proud of myself, I'm smiling because this video is valuable. Because this is content that I wish I had. Oh wait a minute. I did have this content. This is basically book club. That's all this is. This is all this is. It's a magical book club magic trick, really. Oh, do you guys want to win at entrepreneurship while we're you want to win at entrepreneurship? We're going to win at entrepreneurship. There are a ton of messages. you guys want to win in entrepreneurship? Let me know. To show that you're not just half listening, what are your goals? What are your goals for this video now that you've spent time inside of this video? What are your goals? It's just one-to-one personal communication because I care. Should we partake in an entrepreneurial exercise? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. James Clear, Atomic Habits. We don't want to learn through planning. We want to learn through practice. I love this. I really treasure our sunrise video time together. I want this video to be your entire ROI for the 200 hours that you spent on YouTube. That's what I want. How can we practice during this video? Here are some ways. Here are some ways. Thank you for the feedback. Here are some ways. I'm going to staccato burst information that you can parse, perhaps 3/4 listen or fully listen, you pick. Artificial intelligence. Have you used it to make $200? Not $200 million. Have you used it to pay for something like groceries or a weekend of 5 dinners out or a vacation? Why don't people use this theoretically life-changing technology innovation that might end humanity, the singularity, where machines rise and then become our overlords? So you're saying that it's that popular and that potent and that pervasive, yet I can't ask the computer to buy me dinner? Like it should be able to at least get me a sushi dinner on Sunday for me and friends, or, well, Sunday, family. Why? What if we asked AI to do what? Artificial intelligence. Oh my God, this is almost like a prayer. In fact, why don't we combine AI with a prayer? Let's effing go. Father Lord, thank you for this time together, and thank you for being able to help with going from 0 to partially a hero with some ideas that we can share and also leverage new friends, new acquaintances, and new technology. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So together, why don't we combine some Jesus with some AI? And that is this. Do you ever pray or wish anymore? Or are you just kind of jaded? Or, yeah. So, remember, we said staccato burst. So maybe let's veer slightly off the Jesus freakery into asking our journal, oh my God, to say, hey, This guy, Larry Chiang, wants me to write in a journal. What's the purpose of this journal? Larry Chiang, me, hi, said, maybe the purpose of journaling is to cross the chasm from the right. Maybe the purpose of this journal is to cross the chasm from the right was the last one. 23 days of open AI. Remember, Jesus was born and we celebrated his birthday on Christmas with the 12 days of Christmas. What did I do during Sunrise Video Series? We did together archive the 99 days of Christmas. OpenAI, they did the 12 days of OpenAI. Are they going to send representatives to Austin for South by? Yeah, they are, but they're not really promoting it very well, and that's a problem. Solution. 23 days of OpenAI with you as a attendee. Technically, you want to be more than an attendee, but you can be fine with just being an attendee initially. What is going on is this video is kind of funny, maybe. I think it's funny, but it's definitely very productive and it's super insightful because now we can use AI to do what? We can now use AI to make South by better by using AI before we attend South by. Is this also chapter 66, which connects to chapter 19? Yes, and yes. That's why it's hashtag CHA65 to CHA19. Now, let's say I promote this hashtag, which is what I'm doing now, staccato bursting, with knowledge bomb dropping as Easter eggs are freely distributed. Why Easter eggs? Because life is a video game and this is an Easter egg laying competition for a small select group of people. Do these Easter eggs cost money? Nope. That's why it's an Easter egg. It's just free and awesome. And when you get an Easter egg, you're like, I have a magical Easter egg. That egg is this. Who wrote down in their journal with the purpose of, I want to go to Miami for Art Basel in December for free? Because when you write it down and then have an accountability partner, oh my God, this is just like high school Bible study. If you have an accountability partner, I will ask you, hey, what have you worked on for 30 minutes per week on going to Miami for free? Will you put things into Grok 3 that then you export out of Grok 3? When was the last time you read a book and became better? When was the last time you read or listened to a video and made $275,000? Now, it's kind of being obnoxious to see if you're paying attention, because when I read Irv Grousbeck's book that I paid $2 for, my buddy Jeff's website was selling books. Some are new, $300. Sometimes the textbook used, earlier edition, $2. I smash bought the $2 version, kept the receipt to show people that I got into Stanford GSB for $2. That's chapter 66. Chapter 67, chapter 68, oh, that's the Bitcoin wave. This is how to go to Omaha for the Berkshire Hathaway conference and to improve and increase your ROI. Back to the 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest, we can have another repetition. What is the repetition of? It is this. Watching last year's video, adding fresh content, coming up with last year's video plus the fresh content in a blog post. Last year's video of Bitcoin for Corporations plus 3 recent articles from MicroStrategy/Strategy/Michael Saylor into a new video. You can have video actually speak aloud the information that is scripted out. This is the most chaotic time on Earth because of the recent improvements and the recent transparency. You can either join people whose brains are melting down, or we can be in a one-to-one club where we get better at connecting to this, which is we read a book, we get better, and we extract money, not just value, we extract money off of the book. For example, borrowing a book at the library that costs $25. Having the goal very low, which is I want $25 worth of value. What we'll do if it's a non-fiction business book is you and I will study buddy that book. Dan Olson, Product Management. He's got 15 chapters. That was the last person who was telling me, hey, I'm going to South by, and I was like, oh, cool. Is your company paying? And they're like, nope, I'm unemployed. And I was like, what? And this person's incredibly busy. So then I asked a couple of questions like, do you need money? Did you sell a company? Nope, I'm desperate for money. Wait a minute, you're desperate for money and now you're gonna go into debt to go to a thing? Yeah, it takes money to make money. Fudge, no, it doesn't take money to make money. It takes a book. Asked this person maybe almost 10 questions. Came to the conclusion that they wanted to be a product manager and make 200K to 400K. Of course, right? Just somebody's gonna discover me and give me a 400K job. Actually, they would, because we're study buddying Dan Olson, Product Management, the Lean Product Management Handbook. Who read that book and memorized chapters 1 through 15? It was so percolating on the front portion of my brain, what they don't teach at Y Combinator, which is chapter 11, the case study, Dan Olson, the Lean Product Handbook, Product Management, which is this. It was a case study. So do you see that it would be valuable to have one more case study to pay for your trip to South by? We would get this in book club. So this was so percolating at the very front of my brain, which caused me to have it burst out of me like it's a Chinese guy sitting in a lift with a dude named Hector driving. Hector worked at the Hilton and he listened to my video on listening. This video is on my X account. The website formerly known as Twitter, which I'm never deleting that app, by the way. Nor am I thinking about deleting myself. So if that happens, nefarious activity happened. I'm in a Lyft with, who is my driver? Do you remember? His name was Hector. What hotel brand did he work for? He works at a Hilton. Did a turnaround of Hector while I'm doing a turnaround of his Lyft ride, while I'm doing a turnaround as per Stram GT 353 Irv Grosbeck, while I'm dropping a video that I will summarize for you now. Hector's Waffle Motel. Boom! I haven't got the financing for him like 13 minutes later. I want to call him Matt Anderson. Is that hashtag CHA11B? Yes. Can you use that for a free trip to South by? Oh yeah. Hashtag CHA11B. That's Dan Olson's Chapter 11B. You're writing it. Well, you're writing C, the case study for product management, which is this is Chapter 11C, which is how I use Dan Olson's book to pay for my trip to South by. That's so important that I'm going to write it down. Today's date is the 3rd. How do I know that from March 7 to March 15 is South by? Oh, it's easy to remember. Just like I remember day 34 of the 23 days of OpenAI is my friend Brendan Bouchard doing a 3-day conference on Growth Day, day 34 of the 23 days of OpenAI. Today is day 3. Day 3, we're talking about Chapter 11C. Chapter 11C. That's your ticket. That's literally punching your meal ticket. How proud of myself am I right now? Super proud. When you don't say in the comments, congratulations, or you're jealous. Why are you jealous? I just gave you money. Why are you jealous? And this is the kicker. Why are you not saying thank you? Because that's what they don't teach you at YC, which is a lot of South Asians, they don't say thank you. So during this live feed, why are you not saying thank you for hashtag CHA11C? Like, I was so proud of myself for that. I'm not proud of myself because I'm awesome, because this is my 34th year of being amazing and awesome. Okay, so that's not like it's a new thing. I'm happy for this. Why? Because now you get this. And what is this? It's Chapter 11C of Dan Olson's book, Product Management. I have a gift. I have a gift. Well, I mean, I have a gift that I already gave you. But I have a gift. Chapter 11C, how I used the case study. How I used Dan Olson's book to go to Art Basel, Stanford Corp Gov Board of Directors Governance, April 24 to 26. May 6 through 8, Bitcoin for Corporations. Growth Day, Brandon Bouchard, day 34 of the 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. And Steve Blank, day 16, 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. $11C. I'm gonna wrap the video on that. No. Oh my God. Oh my God. You fell for it. That's chapter 11C, is using Dan's book. Are you just selling your friends' books? What's gonna bake your noodle is asking yourself, did I become friends with people that wrote Jeffrey Moore, Crossing the Chasm, or Jeff Slutsky, How to Get Clients? Did I become friends with them after I read their book? Did I become friends with them during the book? Did I become their co-author for a future book because his name is Safedin Amu, and I made him join my book club featuring his book, where we're studying and reading what they don't teach you. What they don't teach you at Y Combinator about book club and starting a book club by inviting the author to the book club. If I'm inviting you as the author, you kind of have to say yes. Why? Because if you say no, you don't get feedback. Authors are always looking for feedback. So I think I've done a lot of ROI within this video. What are your guys' thoughts? What's amazing is that somebody thought that this was a recording because it's that well done. Thank you. Thank you. Shucks. It's been terrific spending time with you. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, what questions do you have as far as winning at life? Are you guys going to pay $2,997 for Shelby Sapp's mastermind? Have you thought about getting that ROI before you pay Shelby? What do you think of Sarah Loretta's AI agent, Lizzie Benson? What do you think of my VC agent who helped you get a $31 million venture capital investment going? My AI agent is called the $31 million VC that you don't have to pay equity to. Winning. Feels like we're winning. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, I'm going to ask this kind of simple question. Why is it only hot girls that like and follow up and connect? Is there a reason for that? Stop. It's Sunday. Keep it clean. Thoughts? Just roll with it. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, I have something pink. This is a new mascot. What's this a mascot for? For LCMMASFM, Mining and Management Accounting Software for Mining. Why are we using a starfish? Because we ask executives that work inside of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, because it's called LCMMASFM, Mining and Management Accounting Software for Mining. We ask mining people the very specific question, which Hot Girl Sales Club advocates, the technique of, do I have your attention? Which is, hey, do you know the difference between your butthole and a hole in the ground? Get it? Because a starfish is your butthole. So do you know the difference between a hole in the ground and the starfish? And they're like, what's with the starfish? Then forget about the starfish. You can't forget about the starfish. Forget about the starfish. Do you know the difference between your butthole and a hole in the ground? Because it turns out knowing the difference between the two is actually not that easy when it comes to making mining decisions. Why? Today's accounting software does not go 8 decimals to the right of 0. Solution? Have it be Satoshi Bitcoin denominated, because 1 Satoshi is a partial cent, and that way we can go 5, 6, 7 decimals to the right of $0, whereas typical software just has a rounding error. That's why we're using a starfish to launch a, dare I say, software company. It's really just launching a TAP, a text app to help you make slightly better decisions on mining and management accounting software for mining. Because do you want to download and install a brand new accounting system? Fudge, no, you don't. What you need is you need a dashboard attached to your smartphone, which that's also kind of complicated. What if we did Indinero? Indinero, is that a YC company that does accounting using infographics? Yeah. Delivered via TCP/IP, aka email? Yeah. What if we made it even easier and used AI and just did it as a text app where you can make Larry Chiang mining management accounting software for mining? Are we combining this with an external API into a Ben Affleck movie on March 8th, which is day number 8 of the 23 days of OpenAI? Oh yeah, we sure are. Hey Larry, did you name the 23 days of OpenAI to coincide with the exact day in March? You bet. Why make it more complicated than it has to be? Which is why Paramount Hotel, The Accountant 2, doubles as accounting software launch party. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's the accounting software that's like right there. It's right there. Oh my God. It's hard to do this actually. Look, my accounting software. My accounting software. Wah, 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 wah. This book. Right there. Right there. Right there. Oh my God, I'm cracking myself up right now. There's an accounting book right here. YC, Indinero, Jessica Ma, hey, you're welcome for the introduction. You're welcome to the introduction to Paul Graham. And guess what? Right after that introduction was a Brandon Burchard 3-day seminar that we went to, thanks to the domain skis that Paul Graham was meeting with. Cool, right? It's all concentric circles and Venn diagrams of hanging out. Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, what we just went over is Jessica Ma making multiple millions doing a company called In Dinero. Boiling down accounting stuff to cross the chasm from the right. We use Starfish to talk about hashtag LCMMASFM. Larry Chiang Mining and Management Accounting Software for Mining. Do you want to pay Larry Chiang $1.8 million when you make $3 million? You actually kind of do. But do you want to have upfront costs for software and then have the business model of seats, SaaS, and some complicated money outlays? No, 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 no. We're going to business model generate up a model combined with Mark McCormack's How to Do What Duck 9 Does Without Having to Hire Duck 9. How to do what Larry Chiang Mining Management Accounting Software does without hiring Larry Chiang Mining and Management Accounting Software for mining. Is this paying for my trip to Orlando for Bitcoin for Corporations? Most definitely. This is the combo of Mark McCormack. How to do what Mark McCormack does without having to hire Mark McCormack. Combined with the Mark McCormack reverse rebate model, combined with internal escrow, hashtag internal escrow, combined with one-way letter of intent. Do you see why I'm batting 1,000 when it comes to blonde billionaires? Because blondes just listen super well. They don't interrupt, and the hot ones with a master's degree, they just listen super well. Which is why the live stream works, because you can half listen, but it's hard for you to talk because I know you want to interrupt. You know what? You can interrupt when we hang out at your celebration party that you fly me out for, which is Alexander Ostrander Business Model Generation. Because SaaS business models aren't necessarily broken, but this reduces the friction. What else is friction reducing? Lubrication. The lubrication of, you thought I was going to say Larry Chiang. Nope. Ben Affleck's movie at the Paramount Theater. I almost said Paramount Hotel. At the Paramount Theater, which also is hosting us for South by day number 2. South by's day number 2 is 23 days of OpenAI's day number 8. In corporation, we can improve why? Because we're solving a problem of lack of lubrication by having a world debut with free movie tickets. Before this gets even way more complicated, because in my mind, I get it, but it feels like you are getting over inundated with information. So instead of learning by planning or learning by stockpiling knowledge, we're going to have you learn by practicing 15 things in this video, starting with a like. Practice liking yourself.